Hello everyone, welcome to Durrett's Take. Let's get started. Let's go over the All-Star reserves that were just announced last night, and let's discuss if the coaches got it right. Let's start with the West first. So for the most part, I actually don't have a problem. The only thing I would say is I would lean towards Book over CB3. Um, but first of all, you can make a case for either, and then second, AD will need a replacement. So if that's Booker, then in the end, it'll all be fine in my opinion. Although being replaced was definitely not the same as being voted in automatically. But now I will say there are certain people like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, like I had in my on my list. I'm Jordan Clarkson, which by the way, six man. By the way, don't get love as far as being an all-star team. So I feel like that needs to change, and hopefully it does in the future. But Jordan Clarkson, DeMar DeRozan, Brandon Ingram, you can make a case for those people. But for the most part, I feel like they got it right in the West. Now the East. Man, did they screw this up. I want to start off with Tatum. So in a normal year, Tatum is an all-star. No one is disputing that. What can be disputed is Tatum's not playing like an all-star this season for the most part. He was out with COVID for weeks, and because of it, because of him getting COVID, it also took a while for him to kind of get back into playing shape and kind of like getting back to normal, if you will. So because of that, yeah, he had a few good games before COVID. Then he had a few good games like the past two games, or whatever. But it's just like, but that's not enough of a collective sample to say, okay, yeah, he's playing like All Star this type of season. You need more games than that. So I did not agree with that. And okay, now for my biggest beef, what the heck is Ben Simmons doing as an All Star? He's not even the second best player on the team right now. That is Tobias Harris. Which, if you voted Tobias Harris, and even though that would have been my pick, I wouldn't have been mad about that. Tobias Harris is the one where if Embiid's not going on or Embiid's out, he's more leading the team's head. Like this is, I mean, I know Simmons has had a few good games recently, but still, it's just like that is bonkers to me. Tobias Harris is playing better than him. Why is Simmons an all-star? And then my biggest beef is how did I know I didn't have him originally, but Ben again, it was very tough to leave him out. But how do you not have Domantas Sabonis in? Pacers are top four in the East, 21 points, 11 rebounds type of guy. You tell me Simmons, I'm not recently, but throughout the season, you tell me Simmons has played better than Sabonis. Is that what you're telling me? Because if that's what the coaches should tell me, then they need to get their eyes checked. They need to watch more film because that is not the case. That is unacceptable. Also, Trae Young, I mean, he was an all-star starter last year, and I don't think he's done anything to make him all of a sudden a non-all-star type of player. Like, I don't see that at all. Coming as such a guard. And then, you remember, I had Jeremy Grant's low-key all-star, and I feel like he should be there because, I mean, without him, Detroit would never win a game, so I lobbied for him as well. But there's a few other players you can consider, like Fred VanVleet or something like that, or Chris Middleton. Like, there's a couple other players you could consider. But in the end, I only had three reserves wrong, which is not bad, but still, like, I think in the end, I feel like the coaches messed up on the East, mostly on the East specifically. But I feel like the coaches need to not choose all-star reserves anymore because they clearly don't know what they're doing. Okay, so now moving on to some other basketball news. So Demarcus Cousins got released from Houston, which was rumored to be the case like a week ago. So now it's finally happened. I'm not surprised, but at this point, we know Cousins is more of a suit as a backup center. He doesn't have his all athletic abilities, and I wouldn't say his best defender, if you will, but he's averaging around 9 points a game so far, 7 rebounds a game. He can still give a team a juice off the bench or give them something. So I feel like also brings that veteran presence, which is nice, and I feel like his next team should be a contender, unlike Houston. So let's get started with now my top 5 list. Number 1, the Los Angeles Lakers. You may raise your eyebrows here since the Lakers have Harrell and Gasol and AD, but AD's out. And let's face it, Harrell is best suited in a six-man role, and Gasol is, even though he starts, let's be honest, not much of a starter. So while AD is out, it's another boost that you can get for the bench for a big man, especially since Harrell's not going to be shooting threes, so you can get, and Gasol's kind of off and on his three-point making, so you can get a good player like DeMarcus Cousins, who was on Lakers last year. Like LeBron James wanted him for a reason, so I assume LeBron's going to go after him again. And Lakers reportedly waived Quinn Cook, so that way this could potentially happen. So don't be surprised if he goes there. Next is the Los Angeles Clippers. So we know Ibaka's starter center here. While Zubac is good, he is A, more of an undersized center, and B, he's not a shooter, he's more of a dunker or back to the basket type of center. So if the Clippers want to go big, then they can have Ibaka at the 4, Zubac at the 5. And then when one of those goes off the court, then you can bring that Demarcus Cousins to give you the spark on the bench. You can shoot threes and stuff like that. So if I'm the Clippers, that's a piece I go after. The other one's Brooklyn. Again, this won't solve any defensive issues for the Nets, but the only big man they have is DeAndre Jordan. He doesn't shoot the ball. So Cousins will be a welcomed addition to the team here, and it makes all sense in the world if the LA teams don't want him. If he goes here, if I'm Brooklyn, I go after him hard. If you don't get like an Andre Drummond or something like Griffin, then you go after him. Fourth, Utah Jazz. Now you may be thinking the Jazz have Derek Favors, Rudy Gobert's backup. Why do they need Cousins? Well, it's because it's always good to bolster your bench. First of all, especially when you're in a top seed right now and the best record in the NBA, you want to make sure you can bolster the bench if you can. Also, B, what did the Jazz love to do? They love to shoot threes. What can Cousins do as a big man? He can shoot threes. Now, I'm not going to say he can shoot threes like at a elite clip or so, but he can shoot at a decent enough clip. Because Derek Favors, Derek Favors can make a three, but he hardly shoots any threes. He's more like, and he's more of a mid-range guy, but even at this point, he's been shooting a lot of just like Gobert type of baskets. So I feel like you can add him in along with Favors so you can get some size. And then you obviously have Clarkson and Yang and Ingles off the bench. So that's a pretty good bench right there. So if I'm Demarcus Cousins, the LA teams don't want you. If for some reason Brooklyn's workouts, like that would be an option right there. And then last but not least, I got Portland. So Portland's a good place to be a contributor. As we've seen, Melo resurrected his late career here. Derrick Jones Jr. came from Miami, not playing much there. Now he's getting a Creed contributor right now since Nurkic got injured and Zach Collins is out. And then Robert Covington has been playing well since he's been here. So I feel like Cousins may fit just fine here, and he may be able to just plug in and works out. And especially with Nurkic and Zach Collins, besides Derrick Jones Jr., you need more size and depth, especially since Derrick Jones Jr. cannot shoot the three, unlike Demarcus Cousins. So I feel like Dame would welcome a center to pick and pop with and have that center be able to shoot these. I feel like he would love that. I feel like he'd be a good addition for Portland. So if the big teams and the top teams in the NBA right now don't want him, if I'm Portland, I go after him. So one more thing I want to talk about is rumor has it that multiple sources that the Mavs have been shopping KP. Even Golden State was one of the teams that's been discussed. But when reporters asked Cuban about this, he said that the reports are completely false. So the question here is who to believe. On one hand, you can make the argument Cuban is lying because if Porzingis is realizing he's definitely going to get traded, you're not going to get good playing or maybe any playing from it that matters. So we just be like, well, if you don't want me, fine, I'm not playing anymore, just trade me then. That's not what the Mavs want. On the other hand, he could be telling the truth because there's hardly any other replacements for Porzingis. Now, if a Bradley Beal or Zach LaVine are on the trademark all of a sudden, then that swap would make sense. But other than that, it's just like you're not going to get a lot of better value than KP. So even though we've already admitted KP is not the second best option on a championship team anymore, we discussed that. But if for example, if Mark Cuban, if he got a deal for Bradley Beal, hey, like Wizards like, hey, we'll take on Porzingis and you get Bradley Beal, Cuban would do that in a heartbeat because he likes to make the teams as good as he can. So that's if I'm the Mavs, that's what I would do. So again, I feel like Cuban is basically he's telling the truth here until Porzingis is traded. Then it's gonna end up being a lie. But there you have it. So that's it for today. Please subscribe to my channel and tell everyone about me. Thank you very much. You have a wonderful day.